Hello, welcome to Calls with your Kinky Bestie. I'm Emma. I am a submissive and mentor for fellow Kinksters. This podcast is all about insights into kinky life and dating, sharing my personal experience and stories, and help share mindset shifts too to get you into a confident space, more confident than you are now. So get ready. It all starts now.
Oh my god, hi, hello. If you've listened to past episodes or you've been in my circle for a while, you know that I'm a batcher. Like I try to batch all my podcast stuff all together at once. And last episode was my first ever time doing a video episode. And it's taking a long time to upload, and I'm not even sure. I've already recorded it, so I'm committed to getting it up, but as of this moment, it seems like a big pain in the butt. So maybe I'll figure out systems for it in the future, but for right now, I'm just going to record the rest of these in the normal way I'm comfortable with, so I can make sure I can get this shit to you rather than trying to figure out like a totally new process for 3 episodes all at once and spend a shit ton of time on it. So that's what's going on. If you loved the video format, definitely let me know. Because sometimes I feel with the podcasts, there's not a ton of direct feedback. It's not the same as social media where you're going to get like a bunch of, comments for every episode and basically knowing what people think. It's a little bit like shouting into the void. So I really don't know what you like and what you don't like. So tell me if there's something you love so I know what to prioritize, like focusing on and what is important to you guys. So yeah. Okay, today, all that aside, today, talking about sleep spaces with ADHD if you are in the kinky lifestyle, because this is a really interesting intersection. So it's pretty widely studied that ADHD equates to a tough time sleeping as a normal human. Like our melatonin production isn't always the same. We just have higher levels of energy, so it can be harder to wind down, harder to like regulate certain like habits and patterns around sleep. So combining that with bedroom interests, like the example I can think of is I've got a shit ton of sex toys, and where else am I going to store them but my bedroom? So I have some guidance, some solutions for finding a little balance between the two so that you can get some fucking sleep, and just other sleep space ideas as well for, folks on this lovely ADHD bubbly brain neurodivergent spectrum. So the first thing is, if it is at all possible for you, creating a separate space just for sleep is the ideal way to go. It's the ideal way to go so that your brain knows that like whenever you enter this room, like this is just my sleeping room and just my sleeping space, and like my brain has a dedicated activity that goes on here and nothing else. It can be harder to wind down and shut down the brain stimuli if you're used to using, your sleeping area as like your workspace, your eating space, your hobby playing Animal Crossing space. Like it's just tough for our brains to differentiate. So if you can at all, if it's at all possible, that's the first thing, is try to create a separate space just for sleep. So I've done this pretty well with other areas of my life where I have my work out of the bedroom. I have a lot of the entertainment devices, like my TV is not in my bedroom. I've taken this a little bit of a step further. I have most of my colorful like furniture and like fun novelty, home decor shit that I love it's outside of my room. My bedroom is almost like the most boring room in my house. I've had to frame it in like this is a luxurious, cozy sleep space kind of way to get my brain on board with it. So I made this whole beautiful Pinterest board of like, yeah, really cozy, relaxing bedrooms and sleep spaces, and basically made it its own hyperfixation. So that's what I've really tried to create in my bedroom. So for me, what that looks like is, even though the rest of my house is covered in bold colored, funky patterned, colors and shit and furniture, my bedroom is just white and pink. Which is, if you know me and if you've met me, it's like that would kind of boggle your mind, but my bed is. I also just have beige walls. I didn't choose this color or anything. I just rent, and that's, a classic landlord, not perfect white, but popular color choice. Um, I've got these gorgeous linen sheets that are these tones of pink that are really beautiful. I even have, so my nightstand is, it's from IKEA, but IKEA doesn't make them anymore. I had to get these on Facebook Marketplace. If you follow me on Instagram, you can see them. I have some like home tour videos where you can see around my house in a little bit more detail. Actually, I don't know if I've done a home tour of like my new bedroom furniture, so I might have to do a little updated one so you guys can see the situation. Maybe that's what I'll do with this episode coming out. So follow me over on Instagram if you aren't already. It's Kinky Bestie. That's KINKYBESTIE. So I used to have nightstands that had like open shelves, or I would mostly use the like tabletop surface of the nightstand as like storage, and I would just kind of ignore the drawers. So what I like about this IKEA solution, and maybe you can find something similar, is it's got a little tabletop surface, but underneath that, it's almost like a bucket. It's like a bucket right underneath here. So whatever crap I've got, like my charging cables, I sleep with an inhaler by my bed because I've got asthma. I've got like my notebooks in there, and I like to have, some oracle or tarot deck by my bed. I just or like, my hand cream, all that really practical stuff that I'm going to want to have with me, like as I'm winding down for bed or even in the middle of the night. I even have a pair of, like earplugs there in case I'm like too stimulated and it's too loud at night or something and I just want to totally shut stuff off. I've got all of this stuff in this bucket, so I'm able to like really easily reach in and access what I need. But visually, it is not nearly as overwhelming. Like, I still know and can very easily access this stuff. It's not the same as a drawer where you have to, oh my God, if you have ADHD and you're on the spectrum of like just needing to see something to know it exists, like the object impermanence thing. For me, drawers are where things go to die. Like drawers and cabinets that close up or closets. It's bad. It's bad. So being able to have this open bucket instead, that I don't have to put the effort into like opening or closing, and I can still see what's going on when I look the right way, but it's not unless I'm looking into the bin, otherwise it's not visual. So I can see it whenever I'm like in bed and reaching over to my nightstand, but other than that, it's not like this huge collection of stuff on display. It's kind of tucked away. So that is amazing, and I love that so much. Some other cozy things I've got going on to kind of distinguish my bedroom as a sleep exclusive space is lamps. So cozy warm lighting. I have a couple lamps in here that I usually keep on a warm setting. They have like those color changing bulbs, so I keep them on a little bit of a schedule too. Like after a certain time of night, my bedroom lights will turn on with like this warm glow, and some of the brighter lights in the other areas of my apartment will shut off. It's kind of like to like beckon me into my bedroom and make it seem like really luxurious and exciting. I also, in like teenage boy fashion, have under bed like an LED light strip under my bed. And I don't use all the colors because some of the colors look fucking crazy. But it's a nice like lower glow than like something like a bright overhead light, or sometimes even when you're really trying to wind down, a lamp even on one of the dimmest settings can seem too bright just because it's closer to eye level. So with those LED under bed lights, it can make the whole room just a lot darker if I'm using those instead, but still give me like the little bit of light I need to, journal or whatever I'm doing, or give myself a little massage or whatever it is I'm doing before bed. So the lighting has been this element of luxury and like enticing me into my bed. I've also had to be really intentional about technology, of course. So I was really, resistant to this for a while. So I had to shift my mindset into a place of, no, it's actually really luxurious to have a tech-free bedroom, and it's like exciting experience. Like I want to pop on my slippers in my bathrobe and like click my heels and run off to my bedroom, leaving my phone behind to just fucking relax and enjoy this super cozy sanctuary I've made. So, however you can make your sleeping space a motivating, want to be there space, and you want to be there to sleep, not just because you want to be there because all your favorite shit's in there. That's kind of the switch over your brain has to make, especially if you're used to as in adolescence and childhood, most of us, like, our bedroom is like our only space to keep our stuff. So, my bedroom used to basically be a playground. Like, I kept all my toys and my fun shit in there. So, transitioning out of that and keeping stuff and all the fun stuff out of my bedroom instead, it definitely is like you have to consciously make the shift, and it's so worth it when you do. But back to the topic of, well, what are we going to do about our sex toys and the fact that we have sex and our like lovely kinky activities in our bed. So if it's possible, if it makes sense for you, oh my God, like if you've got a spare bedroom or something, or if you and your partner just aren't really like bedroom sex people, like if you're more of like a countertop partnership or couple, or there's other pieces of furniture you like to rock, lean into that and make separate spaces for your sexy times. If you got some spare space, even make a little sexy room for yourself, little sex dungeon action. What a better way to I just can't think of a better way to separate those two activities. And also, if you have lovely sex room stuff, please show me. I would fucking love to see that. Would fucking love to see that. Right now, in a success, and just one of the ways that I keep my dog is sleeping on my bed. I can hear him crying. By the way, I'm not recording this podcast in my bed, but I am recording this in the cozy, comfy chair that I have next to my bed. And I'm like lounging in, I'm wrapped up in a blanket and I've got stuffed animals. Because this is just the flow state I get into, okay? It's the room that makes most sense for my podcast recording as far as like my noises and things like that go. So even though I'm in my bedroom, I'm not recording in my bed, and that's an important part of this. Which brings me to this other point of to keep other activities and other parts of my life separate from my sleeping area as much as possible. I actually don't use the closet that's in my bedroom as like a clothes dressing closet. I have a closet in a totally separate part of my house that I use for that. And this might not work for your setup, but maybe it would work for your setup. Maybe there is, another area of your house that can be used more creatively. Like maybe you could create yourself a little fun dressing area in another area of the home, and that's a way that you can really celebrate this part of yourself too. So there's so many different ways to do it, and you're going to have to get creative with what makes sense for you. But what I do use the closet in my bedroom for is to store my sex toys, because currently And my ideal scenario and what I'm manifesting towards with my partner is to have like a separate sex bed area. Right now, it's not really ideal for my current setup. So we do have sex on like the bed that I also sleep in sometimes when I'm not having sex in his bed. So to keep those activities as separate as possible, I use my closet as my sex toy storage area right now. So I've got, my lovely goodies in bins. The only things that I really have accessible closer to my bed or I have, like a lube in my nightstand so that I can easily grab that when I need that. To kind of, and that's more of like protecting my well-being thing, because with my brain, if I forget to grab the lube whenever I'm in the sex toy closet, well then sometimes, I just might not use lube, then I'll use spit or something, and then I won't be having a comfortable experience. So if you know that you're going to remember the lube, maybe just keep it in a separate area if you can, so your brain's, so it's not like on your radar. But that's just, what works for my brain and what I've had to do. So I've got all my goodies in there, except for I don't have a charging solution currently that's closer. Like there's no outlet within that closet to actually charge my toys there. So I do have to use an outlet that's like closer to my bed to be able to actually charge my toys before I put them away. But I try to make it a habit of whenever my toys are charged, because when they're charging, they have a little bit of a glow, right? So once my toys are charged up, I don't want them out anyways, because that light is going to be, like stimulating whenever I'm trying to wind down. So whenever my toys are charged, they go straight in that closet until I'm ready to get them out and use them. I also use things like blindfolds and sometimes earplugs to be able to keep out some sensory stimuli whenever I'm trying to sleep. I have a little speaker in my bedroom that I use as like it will play some rain sounds and white noise for me at sleep too, to like help wind down. But I try not to use that blindfold or those earplugs or that like rain sounds for any other activities. Like they all live in my bed or at my nightstand, and those are things that I exclusively do like when I'm in my bed ready to go to sleep. So I don't use that blindfold for sexy times, or use those earplugs for, sexy time sensory deprivation either. Like I try to associate the objects for each activity like accordingly and keep them separate whenever possible. So the very, very Cliff Notes version of this is try to just make your sleep space just your sleep space and create a separate space for your sexy times if you can. If you absolutely can't do that and it's not an option, or it's just not comfortable for you, like for me, like I need to be able to be warm and wrapped up in a blanket and very cozy to have lovely sexy times, and that's just not going to be possible on the floor or on a couch the same way, or just enjoyable in the same way. So working towards a separate bed entirely. But in lieu of that, if you can't do that, or even if that's just not aligned with your goals and how you want your dynamic to play out and your lifestyle, as much as possible, try to keep those sexy time, like your adults' toys and stuff, just visually separated at the minimum, so that you're not like whenever you're trying to go to bed seeing your crazy collection of toys and all lit up and glowing in a display case and thinking, maybe I could, put off sleep for an hour or two and have some fun here. So like everything in this lifetime, your mileage may fucking vary. But really the key here is just try to keep it visually separate, because you can totally use that part of your brain that has object impermanence to your advantage. I do a similar thing with my fridge where I think I learned this on TikTok or Instagram or something, where I put like the things that I keep in my fridge that don't necessarily go bad or that I don't really want to be eating all the time, like sodas or like canned cocktails or condiments. You can keep those in like those drawers in your fridge, like the vegetable drawers that are harder to access, and like that's the drawer where produce goes to die in my house. So instead, you can keep something else in there, like, canned cocktails or just whatever you don't necessarily want to be getting out all the time. And instead keeping, what you do want to be using for your bedtime sleep routine more visible. Like maybe you could leave out a lovely little cozy candle for yourself, or your little bottle of melatonin. Melatonin's the shit, by the way. Highly recommend. I started taking this melatonin that they don't make it anymore. So I got a bottle for myself and a bottle for my partner, my dom. And they actually stopped making it after I did that. So he gave me the bottle that I gave him back because I loved it so much and was trying to hunt it down on the internet. But there's this ingredient in some like sleepy time supplements. So this one's melatonin, and it has L-theanine or something like that. But it's like a calming, wind down natural supplement that some people use just to calm and help soothe like other ADHD symptoms too. So if your doctor's on board and you're curious about melatonin, I'd really recommend looking into like those ingredients in a supplement and testing things out and seeing what works for you. All right, my dears, we will chat soon in the lovely next episode here, and goodbye.
Thank you so much for joining me this episode. You can follow the podcast on the platform where you're listening to get updates with new episodes. You can follow me on social media at Kinky Bestie. I'm on Instagram. You can also check the show notes for any links or resources that I talked about in this episode, or just more ways to connect with me. And please share this with your kinky friends who could benefit from this type of content. There is also an option for each podcast episode to engage with Q&As or polls. So I'd love to hear from you and create future episodes around what you want to chime in with. So please check those out in the show notes too. And I look forward to hearing from you. Bye.